Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of Terraform. Oh, now I can see myself. Maybe I have to fix my hair first, but yeah, it's pretty much good. Anyway, my name is Anton Babenko. I'm gonna to explain a few things related to Terraform. I try to do this in pretty interactive way. So thanks everyone who sent me email and tweets and different other ways people ask questions, and that's really helpful, at least for me, to understand that whatever I do is actually relevant. So that's pretty good feedback. I'm really glad to hear that. So let's put some kind of agenda first. So during today, I want to go through Terraform AWS modules. Well, this is simply because it's like default thing which I can talk about, and I think without any preparation. If you are tired about different things which I have been covering before, again, please let me know. Maybe I will listen to that, and maybe I can prepare something else. But currently, I don't have a lot of time to prepare something really sophisticated, though I wanted to do this at some point in the future. So, yes, hello everyone who say this in YouTube chat. So let's get started. And how I do this? Well, I do this by sharing my screen. I am working for a company. Well, I actually founded this company, and I work with different people. We are developing a bunch of different interesting solutions related to Terraform, AWS, DevOps. So pretty much everything what I'm talking about during this stream. So we do open source, and we serve a lot of different customers. As you can see, I'm AWS community hero and do a lot of things in different Terraform projects, serverless TF, and so on. One thing which I forgot to kind of put into this website is that there is no single mentioning about Teragrant. And that's, I don't know why. But actually, I do have a few Teragrant reference architecture repositories, and I think I helped most of my customers, I mean, not listed here, but also a few customers who are not listed here, with Teragrant specific things. So if your company needs help with Teragrant, you can imagine that I do this as well. So this is quite easy, and we get out of today's agenda. Next one. As you know, N0 is a company who is providing managed platform for your infrastructure as code, and they have actually expanded different pricing models. So as you can see, it is extremely transparent, and you can imagine what kind of features you may need. And it's always easy to get started with free, and you will understand that in most cases, like at least in my experience, very large amount of customers will be happy with free for a very long time, and then they can upgrade as they need. But free features are pretty much what you need anyway. So thanks to them for supporting my work, and feel free to go to n0.com/Anton, and you will see, you will see this website, and you can go to documentation and actually read a lot of it there. And I have interesting things to say about Crowswerker. Hopefully, I pronounce it better this time. What I want to say about this company is that they are a full stack software consulting company founded 11 years ago. They specialize in similar things as I do: AWS, HashiCorp, and FinOps. In open source software development, they do pretty helpful and pretty visible parts in regards to Terraform Docker provider. They maintain it and develop it. But if you are looking, let's say, from business perspective, they offer a lot of integration services. For example, HashiCorp Vault managed service. So you don't have to implement it yourself. HashiCorp has as a managed service, but you still need to configure it and know a little bit about it. So they provide consulting in that field as well. I want to focus also to highlight what is FinOps, because I realize that not everybody knows what is FinOps. Well, FinOps, as you can imagine, is similar to DevOps. It's a methodology that aims to bring together two departments inside of a company. So namely Fin, which is financial department, and technological operational department. It also breaking down FinOps solve issues of overpaying, resource waste, bad transparency in regards to finances when it comes to operating in the cloud. We all probably know that using cloud doesn't mean that it will be cheap immediately. And this can be accomplished by the implementation of certain guidelines, metrics, responsibility metrics, and a lot of automation in the cloud. If this sounds good, or you want to reduce your cloud bill, feel free to reach out to them. And they do this stuff, and I'm sure that you will learn something about FinOps in the future as well. Hello, Andy, and thanks for loving my videos. Funny thing about creation these videos is that I try to make them as low effort as possible, so that's why I completely abandoned post-production. Whatever I say here will be live immediately. I don't want to cut and then polish them somehow, so hopefully you understand that. Okay, so it has been actually quite a long time since I mentioned event. Because, before COVID, we all traveled and it was fun, and conferences and all this stuff. But still, there are a few events happening out there. I'm not participating as speaker in majority of them because I don't have time for that, and I'm not a big fan of actually talking to screen, except my stream. So CodeMotion is one of these events which I was supposed to go, I think 1 or 2 years ago, and I couldn't. I couldn't probably because of COVID, I think. But anyway, this is very big conference, and this time there will be 3 days conferences, like 5 conferences actually during these 3 days. And you can go to codemotion.com and then see a program there, but also you can get free ticket, or you can go and buy it for 60 euros, which is also a good thing if you like online after party and talk to speakers afterwards. So feel free to check out this. If there are other events which you want me to highlight, please let me know in comments or in any other way. Okay, so a few comments from Andy related to position myself when I share my terminal. Well, I try to move myself out of the way, but sometimes it's just impossible because I'm all over the screen. So I think I put it pretty good position now. So stay tuned, Andy, and you will see where I position myself this time. Okay, so let's get started with the most interesting part for today, which is going to be pull requests. So I have a lot of things to pick from. Honestly, there are hundreds of pull requests and issues in all Terraform AWS modules, which is just impossible to go through manually. Though we've been doing this together with a few other people in the community quite actively. I want to highlight really awesome work which has happened by Bryant Biggs. This is guy, I already mentioned him, I think at the beginning of my streams a couple months ago. He is amazing guy because he does a lot of useful things for the community and he knows what he's doing very well. So one thing which I want to mention before you start, well, yeah, sure, let me know what is that before you start. Okay, so before I start, so I want to show what exactly he has done recently. Well, we have a lot of repositories, and every time when we have pull request open, for example, there was pull request, pull request, let's see, pull request, this one. Yeah, this one is pretty good. Just one second, I will click update to update. Well, it's okay. So what's going on right now? First thing is that we use GitHub Actions to verify as much as possible what is exactly the situation, the quality of this code, the documentation, and few other things. It is actually not very straightforward thing to do because we have, like with a situation with IAM module, for example, I can show the source code here. We have a lot of folders with examples. Each of these folder have file which is called version TF, and this versions TF has requirement for different Terraform version. As you can see, minimum is 0.12.6, and this AWS provider is required. So we have this versions TF. This is one of our convention. Then we have files inside of modules, different type of modules. There are also folders with versions, and this version may be different from the example. So what we have overall is large amount of different combinations of versions which we need to do, like which we need to verify. The GitHub action which Brian has introduced a couple weeks ago, and after that we merged a lot of pull requests, has been very helpful in these regards. So what exactly these pull request checks are doing? Well, I can look into this one. So first of all, it checks the source code of the root module, and then it tries to identify what is the maximum version of Terraform version is required. So maximum version is used only for documentation and validation. But then we'll go recursively into each modules folder, and we verify using minimum Terraform version that code is valid. Why we do this is that we always have to make sure that the code which we provide is actually valid in terms of syntax, so that these functions are available, or providers which are being referenced are properly configured, and so on. So that's why we use minimum TF validate step to verify code in each modules, in each example, and this version can be different. So overall, as you can see, there are 25 checks. Then what we do as a last step is that we use maximum Terraform version, which is as of now. So as of now, it is 0.14.7. Soon it will be 0.15.0. And what we do here is that we actually execute Terraform FMT to make sure that the whole code base is valid for this version. Then we run Terraform docs and Terraform validate and tflint. You can look into a configuration file if you go to this repository and then folder GitHub workflows pre-commit. So everything is here. Overall, this code is like, if you look at this right now, it's pretty straightforward. There is not much very complicated things, but it took us some time to figure out what exactly should we do with different versions. So I think it's very big and very helpful job which will save us a lot of time. So from now on, when we see that somebody open pull request and this pull request is failing, then it is job of person who has opened it to actually fix it. I mean, they have to click on these details and see exactly what has failed and somehow react on that. It's not very hard to do, but anyway, this is now taken out from our side, and developers will have to do this themselves, which I'm personally very happy because I don't have to run this myself on each commit, even using different automation tools which I had before. Okay, so that's it. Everything is open source. If you go to Bryant GitHub, and there is somewhere GitHub action. Yeah, I guess this is AWS GitHub Actions, which you can look and see how it can help you. Okay, so let's look into pull request. Well, there are a few questions I can see from Nihil about IAM policy. Why is it an attribute and not a resource? Well, where? In which? Okay, maybe resource limit in chat. Yeah, chat is not very nice place to ask questions like this, because of course limit and you cannot mention URLs. Because when I trigger TF plan, an attachment of policy done manually by, say, a colleague, it's not detected as it is not an attribute but a whole new resource altogether. Sorry, it's not updated. The chats are updated. Well, if your colleague has done changes outside of your code, I'm not sure what exactly do you expect it to be. I mean, he has to make this change in place where you can actually compare it, right? Otherwise, where it can check, I'm not sure. I mean, there are a few things what you can do. Attachment of policies in general is only verified if it is done. Like it will be only enforced to certain policies only when resource has inside block which is called policy IRN or something like that. Otherwise, how can it detect that this is changed? IAM policy attachment is out of TF code, but because of resource. But if it were an attribute, it could be detected. Well, can you please show code? It's just impossible to talk about this without code. I know that. Well, how you can share code. Well, open issue, or tell me which issue, if there is an existing issue, and we can look at it. I don't really know how to solve technical questions like this inside of YouTube chat. Sorry, it's not gonna to work. Yeah, or you can email. But usually, if it is public, I mean, if it is not secret, please make it public. Hopefully, other people will be able to find the same questions. I've been answering similar questions hundreds of times, not kidding, and very similar questions, which I usually point people to, hey, please ask this in Discuss. Discuss.hashicorp.com is usually a better place because there are more people monitoring than Terraform AWS modules. Okay, so let's look into add IAM assumable role with SAML module. Sounds cool, but let's see what exactly, who was it? Matt, what exactly Matt was doing here. Now we also enforce templates, isn't it cool? So that this template is actually required to fill in. I think it's amazing. So this PR adds module to add individual sample assumed roles based on the similar. Yeah, right. So there is already one module for OEDC. It's handy, but only allows you to create 3 predefined roles. I need to be able to create many additional roles with arbitrary policies attached. Fixed 126, which is, again, it's by him, so he first open issue and then sometime later he open pull request, which is pretty good practice. So how has been tested? I have applied this. Cool. So I will apply this. Well, I actually said already that it looks good to me, and I will merge it at the end of the week. The trick here is to not specify which week. I mean, today is also end of the week, right? So it's still true. So I think it's good time. Okay, let's look into source code. Maybe I find something strange here now. So he has added an example inside of README. Pretty cool. So policy, role policy IRN, provider ID. So here, create individual IAM role, which can be assumed by users with SAML identity provider. Okay. So well, looks good so far. There are 2 providers, and then 2 of them are used. One is single string, and then another one as a list of strings, which is good example. Second IDP SAML. Second IDP SAML. I mean, this is IDP SAML and this is second IDP SAML. Okay. Policy role. Well, this was probably copied from OEDC, but okay. Name, path, assumable role admin. Is it admin? Well, it's actually another name, right? It's I am assumable role with SAML. It's better to call it here. But okay, still fine. So just this name is a little bit confusing because we are not making just assumable role. Okay, then this one, SAML document. Okay, single IAM role with assumed SAML federated user. Oh my god, now it's another term introduced, federated. Okay. Yeah, this one is fine. So this is the right way to do if you want to make combination of string and list. With 0.13 you can do it slightly different, but still you have to use several functions chained together. Assume role with SAML. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure about this one particular, but AWS SAML. this is, okay, so this is AWS, right. AWS SAML endpoint. Yeah, it's good, but it would be really helpful to be able to try it a little bit more like end to end. But yeah, looks good from user perspective. Let's try to run this and see what's going on. And there is already an issue which has to be fixed in documentation, so it's good. Okay, I am, and now check out what was name 127. So now we first run auto update, and just because there may be a new version of different things, but no, not yet. And then I want to run Terraform docs, because Terraform docs has been changed as well. And also, as you can see, Andy, I put myself on the left side because there is not much interesting going on the left side. So it should be fine, but let me know if it's not. Cool, so this has been updated properly, and now if I look into the source code of this assumable role with SAML, there is not much what I have to even look into, but I want to compare this example with OEDC, because OEDC, to my understanding, is very close example. Okay, so that's why it is the same name here. Yeah, right. Okay, so then let's just run examples, because this is actually one of the things which we still have not solved. Assumable role with SAML, right? Yes, right. Okay, so this one. So running example, as I talked about last time, is that we can run Terraform test. Is going to be available in 0.15, but I didn't have time to look into that for Terraform AWS modules for real. Honestly, I don't want to be the first one exploring this area, because it's just going to be kind of developed and refactored multiple times by HashiCorp and by Terraform community in general. So I'm quite sure that they will figure out a good way which we can simply use it, and it will be just folder test somewhere with some of assertion. So Terraform apply. It's going to be pretty fast as far as I understand, because this SAML provider resource is very fast to create. Right, so it has been created, and that's it. There is nothing else what I think I have to do. Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to destroy with parallelism 100, as well as to create with parallelism 100 or even more, and then you will see some interesting bugs. So feel free to use it on your infrastructure, especially if you create 200 of resources and you want to make it faster. Well, you can make it faster, but then you will hit some bugs in Terraform. So be careful with that. But things will be faster. Okay, so it has been destroyed, nothing new here. Okay. Docs. No, it's actually not docs. I like new word, which I always pronounce incorrectly, so I'm not gonna try to pronounce it this time. But I guess it is chore. Anyway, update to docs. Right. Okay, so now when I push to this, pull request branch. If I go to the code and if I look into, and if I click, let's say, refresh, and now I go and see how this GitHub Actions will react. I didn't do any changes which affect any other version except the last one, so I expect this one to be fixed now. If it is fixed, then that's great. Then let's move on to another issue. Okay, now let's open another issue. Actually, I want to hear feedback from you guys. How long should this stream be? Because I mean, I know that only person who watch my streams from end to end for sure is my dad, who doesn't know Terraform, who doesn't speak English, but he always put likes, he subscribed to my channel. I mean, that's the best what I can think of. And he never complains about anything. He sometimes said that I mentioned something incorrectly, but that's the only thing which he complains about. So if you have any feedback about duration of the stream, please let me know. I want to make it as useful. 1 hour is enough. Great. Thanks a lot for this feedback. And remember to send an email. Okay, so another issue is inside of autoscaling. Right? It has not finished yet. So once it's finished, then I will release it. So inside of Autoscaling Group, what is wrong here? Well, yeah, changing the value of recreate ASG when launch configuration changed from true to false in module cause cycle errors as random path resource is dependent on flag. Yeah, that's probably true. Okay, let me check out this code locally. In a bit. I just want to make sure that this one is done. So it's working well, but sometimes I just have to wait a little bit too much. Cool, now it's done. So I can squash and merge. And I go to my IDE and I release it. I showed this multiple times, so there is not much interesting going on. But I have this command and I say thanks and thanks Matt and command. Cool, so this is now done. Okay, let's go to Autoscaling Group. Well, Autoscaling Group is quite interesting. This module is one of the strangest one because it has been created, I think, for 0.10 or 0.11, and it hasn't been refactored since that time significantly, though a lot of things can be improved there. So I will go to my code and check out 101, PR checkout 101. Good to know that I have hard limit 1 hour. It's really like, oh my god, I have to do something in 26 minutes. I have few other pull requests lined up, so I need to hurry up. Okay, so pull request. Well, if you send me an email, I can read it and maybe I will be able to answer it to you at the end. That's totally possible. Okay. So, Autoscaling Group and the way how it works. Inside of Autoscaling Group, there are a few resources which are conditionally created. One is launch configuration, and another one is Autoscaling Group, and another one is another Autoscaling Group. Again, the reason why there are two Autoscaling groups is that it was not possible to specify blocks like this inside of Terraform 0, when was it? 0.11. right, so this is legacy, and this has to be removed, and again, Autoscaling Group resource has to be combined into one. So trying to figure out what was the question by, not question, but the problem from the person who opened this issue is the following. The name of Autoscaling Group is generated, let's see, right. Autoscaling Group name can be automatically updating every time when launch configuration is changed. So this is done for the situation where you want to make new changes to launch configuration, and then an Autoscaling Group automatically created with another name, and since there is create before destroy block, it will literally create another Autoscaling Group from new launch configuration, and then it will try to delete an Autoscaling Group and delete old launch configuration. So this is like blue-green deployment, the way we could do this in Terraform a long time ago. Now we can do it a little bit better, but still, in most cases, unfortunately, we up until recently, we used to fall back to literally CloudFormation. But for about 2 months ago, there were changes inside of Autoscaling API and provider, which supposed to make it better. I have not used it quite recently, so I don't know exactly how it works. But you can do this, especially for the situation where you previously have to come up with max, mean, and desired capacity. And once it is hard-coded here, you cannot actually scale it up and down using Terraform. You have to you have to use Terraform, unfortunately, for that. Okay, let's see. Let's try to run example, and our example will be the smallest one, which is, I guess, ASG EC2. So what's interesting in this example? Well, first thing is that we don't need to create actually instances. So that's why desired capacity should be 0, because we are not gonna to spin up new instance for real and wait for it and provision it. It's not gonna to be making a lot of problem now for sure. So let's go to ASG EC2 and try to run Terraform init. So now let's look into the case. So what was his name? Well, when there is no name, I have to say the person who has opened pull request. That's too long. Topic starter. Well, no, that's too long. Okay. Anyway, the person who has opened this pull request told that changing the value of recreate ASG when LC changes from true to false cause an error. Excellent. So let's see where we have this. Ooh, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, let's see if I can search. Right, so changing it from true to false. So let's first create it with true and see how it works. Now when we don't create actually instances, because desired capacity is 0, it's going to be pretty straightforward and very easy to work. We don't have to wait for a lot of time. So what we have here is well, this one service linked role. I don't know why we need it actually. Well, probably for some scaling activities, but I don't know if it's required. Interesting resource, Autoscaling Group. Then we handle tags conversion. Again, this is legacy from 0, 10, or even before that. Then we have another tags conversion, and then we create this resource, which is containing actually name of this ASG. Okay, so what we want to have is that we want to make name of an autoscaling group new. Okay, so it will take a little bit of time. Right, so the pull request, actually I have where is it? It's in main. Right, so this pull request, what I did, I will just put it here. I copied it from the pull request itself. Previously we had this recreate ASG from 1 to 0. Let me actually remove this one. No, let me actually put it now, because this is how it was before, and this person has removed this count. We'll see how it was before. Okay, so now we have this code, and if I now remove this, or not remove but disable it to false, right, and I now run, what I expect, well, there was supposed to be an error. Let's see. That's true, because we removed this resource, and we also update because name has changed. It was previously called example ASG and then some random name, and now it will be just this one. Okay, looks good. That's actually what I wanted. I want to see an error. There is no error, then there is no need in this PR. Still destroying. Well, it should be fast. Come on, hurry up. Yes. Okay, so so what's the problem then? Okay, let's do it again. Now I have the code the way it was, okay, with this condition, and this is how it was before, and it was true. Let's delete it. Okay, let's destroy parallelism 100, because we cannot wait for any second. Okay, so now let's delete it and let's see what's going on. Maybe I have to apply some changes in it as well. But, cool, I will take a look on email soon. Now let's destroy it. Let's apply. Okay, so now I am applying old code the way how it was written before this pull request. I want to see error. If there is no error, then there is no problem. And maybe the reason why you cannot catch the error is because that version of Terraform is different from yours. I don't think so. This has been solid for quite a long time. I'm using 0.14.7, I think, which is latest as of now, but it shouldn't be the problem. Okay, so I have created this stuff. Now I want to disable it, so I run it again and see what happens. Well, that's the same change, right? I'm removing resource and updating name. There is not much going on. I think the problem which can be related is that if I now change launch configuration, then it will yes, then it may produce an error. But right now I don't see the problem. And honestly, this the remove, like doing it something like this, is pretty bad idea, because on another pull request in another module, I think in RDS, there are similar type of issue where people mention that why do we even have to use any resources if we are not gonna to use it? And that's exactly the case here. If random create, recreate ASG when this is not enabled, then we don't even have to. I mean, if this is false, then it's going to be empty. So why do we even have to create any resource here? So I think this change, which I commented now here, is not needed. So I don't know what exactly is fixed by this PR. But I have another assumption. Just 1 second. I will try to set up it. So again, I destroy things. I have code the way it was before. So yeah. Well, okay, parallelism. What was the name? Approve. Previously it was force, but I think now force is not working anymore. Or there was like auto approve or auto accept or something like that. So no, force now work well. Okay, then it will stop working in 0.15. So what I want to try now is the same change, but I will do this inside of launch configuration as well. Destruction complete. Okay, so the code is here. Then I create this stuff now, and the second request will be okay, yes, and now I will change this to false, which will trigger recreation of an autoscaling group, and I will also change this one to trigger change of launch configuration. So now if I run apply and see what happens. So now there should be 3 resource changed. I mean 3 to destroy. Okay, so let's see, autoscaling group, that's fine. Launch configuration, and that's also fine. Where is it? Yes, so it's gonna to be here, known after apply, and then new launch configuration and removal of random path. So if this is not producing an error, then I don't know what to do, and close, or not close, but mention that I cannot reproduce it. And please always provide a piece of code, more details how to do this, because as you see, I spent like 15 minutes trying to figure out edge case, and it's not there. So yeah, it didn't help, and I couldn't reproduce this issue. So destroy. Okay, true. And this one. Okay, so yeah, that's not the problem. Okay, let's go to the issue and see. Also, another indicator is that if this module was working for quite some time, literally 2 or 3 years, and then somebody say like, oh, it doesn't work. Again, maybe it's related to the version which this person was using, but as of now, with 0.14.7, I cannot reproduce it, and that's actually kind of important to understand, is that I'm not gonna to go back to this version which was released more than 2 years ago and try to reproduce this issue. I'm not like supporting version which is out of date. 0.12 is already out of date. We switched to 0.13, and we're not gonna to to do a lot of work with 0.12 specific issues other than critical bug fixes. Okay, so I will leave comment here and tell that I cannot reproduce it. Okay, let's see. There are questions. Well, one question actually from Artyom. What do you think about Pulumi? Is there any benefits comparing to TF? Oh yeah, of course, there are a bunch of benefits. That was my point about, yeah, exactly. So thanks for highlighting that this was 0.12. I didn't see this immediately. I usually like read description. Okay, this is it. Okay, that's what you want to do. How this has been tested. Okay, so you did something, and that's it. So I didn't see this small line. Anyway, answering question about Pulumi versus Terraform. I think there are a few interesting benefits of Pulumi still. Pulumi has a library which was called Crowswerker AWS Pulumi. Yeah, so this is library which is like collection of libraries. Wow, that's actually a collection of libraries where they figure out how to provision certain things using best practices, even if some people don't like this word, in order to configure certain services. And they made library available for certain patterns like containers and serverless. If I go to serverless and let's say read about Lambda, then I can see how they describe it. But the code which is gonna to be required is pretty small. Like you create bucket and then you use some sort of listeners, and then when object is created, then you call your Lambda function. So this kind of stuff is very easy for people to understand, and as you can see, they don't have to know how complex things are actually inside of it. If you look into doing the same with Terraform, it will be a similar approach, but there are not many libraries available for, especially in open source, where you can just say, oh, I want to get something done, but I don't want to know how it is actually implemented. So yes, we use Terraform AWS modules, and there are libraries for serverless, for EKS, but still a lot of these things are not opinionated enough. So with serverless, for example, in module which I develop in Lambda, there are few things like there are a lot of features which can be done, but it's usually up to developer to figure out which exactly parameters they need to pass and how exactly they will actually connect it together. Using programming language inside a function and then to manage infrastructure is quite a good idea to my mind. Though there are so many edge cases which are not even covered in the documentation, so after reading this documentation, you may think that, oh my god, it's so easy that my stuff is gonna to work. Most likely not without spending hours of debugging. So it's still very early days where we can just click and get things created for us. But if you use programming language already and you don't want to know how Terraform works, how infrastructure is created, Crowswerker is one of these libraries which I think is pretty time-saving for many needs. Again, in Terraform we have modules. We have similar type of concept with Terraform AWS modules, or friends in Cloud POS are doing similar things. They have 336 modules. Well, not only modules, but they do a lot of different tools. 185 modules they develop. So they do a lot of different things in this regard. So you may have pretty much everything what you can imagine if you combine Cloud Posse with Terraform AWS modules. So yeah, I think they still have long way to go with Pulumi, and it's pretty kind of far from what user wants, but still it's good alternative. Oh my god, I have 4 minutes and I have to hurry up. Now let's see. Let's see. Okay, so I got an email from Nihil. Let's see what this code is doing. Okay. So here is question. Well, I don't know if I can share this code, but I will try to read it with hiding some secret stuff, if there is any secret stuff, honestly. So this code creates IAM group and then IAM policy. It's like 2 independent resources. So far, so good. Well, yeah, I agree with you. One fine day, a colleague of mine does a manual change. Well, fire him immediately. And attaches the extra IAM policy, for example, AWS managed policy, to the above developer group. Sure, he can do that. So if you allow people to manage IAM, then somebody will just attach policy to have administrator access, and here you are. So now running the Terraform plan is obviously not going to pick this manual change because it doesn't know this new resource. Exactly. But suppose AWS were to treat this attachment as an attribute of the group and force us to code it in Terraform as an attribute, like pass on name, rather than resource altogether, then Terraform plan would have easily detected this change. That's right. So my question, why doesn't AWS and Terraform make this attachment an attribute rather than a resource? Wouldn't it solve this drift problem somehow? Well, I cannot answer for officially for AWS or for Terraform, but I can tell you that this is one of the situations where you don't have exact answer, because there are some situations where you want to manage something in one place, but let's say security has to be overridden outside, because there may be some other tools which are not connected to your version control system, which cannot modify your Terraform code, or you have to do something very fast. So you may have some break glass procedure for that as well. So the answer is usually that it has been created in Terraform because AWS API is created this way. We have this solution already implemented. I can show it to you inside of, for example, AWS. Well, let's see if search works. It's route, VPC, route. Yes, here is it. So here is it. Terraform currently provides both standalone route resource and route table resource. So that's similar to what you mentioned here with group and group policy attachment. But you have to be careful. If you use one of these ways, let's say if you put it in one resource like you recommend as an attribute, then you will not be able to attach something externally. But speaking about groups simply doesn't have this API implemented. That's why there is no way to do that for groups and policy relations. One thing which has been created, I still have not used it myself. I don't think I will use it in the near future, but it's called driftctl. Well, driftctl by guys from Kiev. So what they do is that they literally do exactly what you just mentioned. Oh my god, almost 900 likes. So it was pretty good marketing by Stefan. Yeah. So it was yeah, it was created exactly for the situation where you have, like, you can read wide driftctl, and here you will see that it will scan your provider, and then it will identify what is actually the difference between what you configured versus what you have in your cloud provider. I still don't actually know how exactly will it whether will it compare with something what should never be there, or something what has been created but parameters has changed. As you say, like if a new policy has been attached, well, maybe it will not even detect it. So if you want to look into this, check them out, and I'm sure they will be glad to answer issues. If you have any, feel free to ask them inside of issues. I don't know if there are any activities. Yeah, so there are like once a day people asking different questions, so it's pretty active, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good to see that they are developing. But again, as I say, the best solution for this case is to put everything and everyone inside of pipeline and make people easier, make them kind of willing to change something in the code. That's yeah, that's the only thing which can reduce a lot of challenges for you. Okay, I got a message from him too. Yeah, well, that's a thing that Stefan is doing great job. I see him all over the internet, and yeah, I think Stefan and Eric are doing a great job by reaching out pretty much everyone in my network, and I've heard about several people saying like, "Oh, what these guys are doing? They reach out to me." Well, they're not bad. They're doing their stuff, so take them seriously, and they're gonna to produce value if you need this tool. Okay, so yeah, we're actually out of time. I think it was well, how many, two issues? Well, 2 or 3 issues. No, 2 issues. Yeah, we talked about 2 issues. So that's it for today. And one last thing which I want to highlight again. It's not because I want to practice my pronunciation of the name of this company, but I think they are just good to be mentioned one more time. So if you want to have help with your HashiCorp managed services setup, or maybe you're like me, don't want to learn HashiCorp Vault yourself, but maybe you want to use existing product, then you may reach out to company Crowswerker. Well, hopefully it's better now, and they should help you with consulting and all kind of software development in these areas. So AWS, HashiCorp, FinOps, all this stuff they do. On this note, I wish everyone to have a great weekend, and let's keep in touch next time. Bye.